Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kissy. So today I was inclined to have a very candid conversation about open marriage and my personal opinion as to how they may work and why I think that they don't work. So initially you'll have a couple that's married and things start to get difficult, challenging. They love each other, but they're just not in love with each other. They want to be with each other, but they also want to explore some other options. That's where you have a problem in how to resolve it, because most people will say, well, we can't see eye to eye, so we have to divorce. And it's not what either party wants to do. It's just that living together is not supporting their needs. Okay? So, one may decide, usually the masculine decides to make promises they can't keep. All right, forget it. I don't want to do that thing over there. I just want to be here with you. Because they don't want to let go of this, and that's their ultimatum. It's either me or her. That's usually how it goes. And you'll have the masculine where he doesn't necessarily want to go to her by leaving you. He wants to have her and you. So then, because he can't make that choice, he also knows that what he has at home is safe, and he already knows exactly what it is. He can't just let that go and jump into into the second partnership. Because the second partnership, he's insecure about. He's not sure if the second partnership has the stability that you've already created over here. So he's likely to lie to the partner just so that he can have the space to keep that going on a slower pace until he could figure out, until he has a place to land there securely and know that he can do that. Now, that's the man that decides to fear admitting what he wants is, no, I want to be here with you and I want to be there with that, but because I'm unwilling to lose you, and I know that's what you're going to do if I insist on staying with that, then I'm going to pretend that I don't want that. I'm just going to stay with you, and then I'm going to go around it by lying and pretending that nothing is happening when something is still happening. It's just not happening in front of you. So in that way it happens. So then he gets a habit of lying. And he lies to protect her feelings. Then there's where she gives the ultimatum. She doesn't really want to end the relationship. She just doesn't want, she wants to end the distance, the discomfort, the elephant in the room, the problem that isn't getting solved. And so what she ends up doing is giving him the ultimatum, wanting him to pick her, or expecting that he should pick her, because she knows exactly everything that she's tolerated and put up with and helped with, and she knows the role that she has been to him. This is one example. But here's the problem. She feels entitled to, this is what's mine. But if she feels insecure, if she feels she's going to lose him, that given the choice, he's gonna leave, she may lie. She may lie and say, no, you could just stay here and I'll accept what you're doing. Might as well just stay here. We'll be roommates. You do this and I'll do it too. I'll just go do my own thing. I'll let you have your freedom and I will have my freedom too. And that can go one of two ways. One where now he's in panic mode and he doesn't want her to have freedom. He wants his freedom, but he doesn't want her to have her freedom. It's like, no, you can't do it. You have to be solid and stable for me. I just want to go play around a little bit and come back and be certain that I'll always have you as my security blanket. And that might create an interest in staying permanently in, now he has to monitor you. He doesn't want to deal with that over there because now he's, focused back on making it work. That's one positive way it could work. But on the downside, he can also pretend. She could say, okay, fine, you do you and I'll do me. And he can say, okay, that sounds great. I'll do me, you do you. I don't really care about what you got going on because I'm really interested in what's going on over here. Woohoo, free meal ticket to do whatever I want. And sure enough, it may work for him. He's happy, she's happy. But there's always somebody that's lying in this situation. She could be pretending to have moved on and enjoying herself. Or she could be very much actually doing it because she has no choice but to do that, move on, entertain new individuals, involve herself in relationships, just to prove a point that if you're moving on with someone else, I can also move on with someone else. And if she really doesn't want that, she's going against herself when she does that. So she may lie to him just so that he thinks that she is moved on, and hopes, and then he does it too because, well, now she's doing it, now I'm mad, now I'm going to do harder, now I'm going to go harder with my, being that way. It becomes an ego trip. The only way that an open marriage works is when both partners are practical. Because when you have, what I was going to mention about when the woman says, go ahead, no, just we'll stay here like roommates. We'll just be roommates. Do you? And no, I'm not interested in being with nobody. It's, I'm not even attached to you. I'm just happy being with myself. I don't need you. I don't need that. I don't need you. I'm good. But why kick you out? It doesn't bother me. You stay here and we'll just be roommates. Live your life like if you were just anyone else in my life. She pretends you're just like, a random friend or a random brother, where she's not invested emotionally in what you got going on. But that when it's a lie, the moment he goes out or the moment he's on his phone or he's having a conversation privately, it becomes accusations, it becomes jealousy, it becomes hostility, anger, whatever it is, because the underlying thing is pretending on the surface, I don't really give a shit about what you're doing. I'm cool with just being a roommate. But the moment you start showing that you're doing something that it was supposed to be exclusive for me with someone else, all of the insecurities come out, all of the resentment comes out, all of the anger comes out. And that's where you get, you know what, it's better off that you just leave. It's better off that we end this right now. Or, reacting in, oh, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So now I'm going to go out there and do something reckless just to prove a point. So this isn't just a marriage that wants to become now suddenly an open marriage, meaning you get to do what you want, I get to do what I want, yet we're going to stay attached. This happens with boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, meaning, this isn't about just a marriage, a family with kids and all of that and responsibilities to each other. This is, I live here, you live there, we're just codependent on each other, and we start dating and we like each other, and all of a sudden one of us or the other is debating whether or not we want to stay in this. And all these rules come about from separation, from trying to separate amicably, from trying to separate mutually. In other words, when two people come together and they're not clear about their intentions and they don't really know truly what they want out of the connection. They don't really know how secure they are in themselves to allow the other to be there by choice and accept their choice to exit the dynamic. It requires mental stability. It requires emotional stability. It requires not being emotionally attached. In other words, to love someone isn't to be emotionally overwhelmed by them or hyper-focused on them mentally. It's like we do get attached. We do want to hold on to people we love. We do want things to stay perfect forever. We want things to be, when we're in a bond with someone and we feel great with them and everything just feels like you can stay there forever, you want that to stay fixed. Okay, this can never change. It has to stay this way. But even something perfect that never changes eventually is going to need to change. Everything has to change. That's the only constant, if I'm not mistaken, is that everything changes over time. So your attachment, if it's emotional, will never accept the freedom of that other person, the freedom to choose the space that they're required to move into the next version of themselves. It could be choosing a career that changes the dynamic in the connection, and that person's need for comfort can come between it's like the unwillingness to detach for the betterment of the individual creates maybe an unspoken dynamic that eventually has to kind of rupture because the change already occurred. In other words, the only thing that can keep the two together, that can bring you back together, would be each individual having gone through certain experiences that has brought them closer to a more expanded view of themselves. It's like, I am more of me now than I was before. The more of you are, the more of what is real between you remains. In other words, if I genuinely care about you, no matter how many emotions and no matter how many ideas and no matter how many things go around and about in the world, the constant is true. I care for you. I genuinely care about you. So it doesn't matter how much right, how much left you go. When the foundation is I genuinely care for you, then anything that comes about, as hurtful as it may seem and as painful as it may seem, when all of that fades away, what's left is the true intention came from, I care for you. And caring for you would never intentionally hurt you. And no action that I do would not hurt you intentionally. It would hurt you only through misinterpretation, through misunderstanding. But when your intention is clear, then whatever occurs outside of that is only just a facade to get you closer to who you are. So when chaos erupts and you find yourself in having to choose you or this person that you're fighting for, or fighting this relationship, this connection, this bond, I love you so much, I don't want us to be separated. I want to be in your life all the time. That's what it means to love someone. You love someone, you want to experience them. You want to experience them. So however that experience is comfortable for you, right? Some people just want to experience you in thought. Some people just want to experience you in those moments that they do share with you. You just feel the love. But in my day-to-day, you don't fit, for example. Like, you could have a relative that every time you have a phone call with them, you feel the love. It's like, yes, I love you so much, but I'm not accustomed to living with you. I'm not accustomed to your ways. There's nothing I know. I don't know you other than I know I have all this immense love for you. And that could just be some kind of genetic or DNA thing where you feel connected to the people that you're attached to, okay? But that doesn't mean you know them. And maybe living with them and being with them is going to be a whole other experience that you may be comfortable with, but you may also not be comfortable with. So when we take those types of things and we make it a big deal, like it's the end all be all. In other words, it's like, I can't get along with you, so now I hate you. And because I can't get along with you, now I have to hate you. Because I hate you, I have to be your enemy. And then just not, you can never be in my life. This is a tendency of most relationships, from my personal experience, and the people that I've seen in dynamics. It's, when you're trying to create harmony, or when you're trying to take the high road, or when you're trying to do what's best for all, and you say, I just want space to grow, I just want space to explore. Okay, well, some things you can explore, and it shouldn't interfere with me. But some things, if you signed on to a commitment, right? Let's say in a romantic partnership, you're exclusive. We're only dating each other. We're only seeing each other. In other words, you're the only person I'm romantically involved with. That's your word. That's a commitment you're making. Yes, me too. This is what we're agreeing to. Do we have to tell each other for how long? Do we have to know? Should we know? Because, how honest are people? Do people say, yes, you're the only person I want to date romantically? In other words, am I in this romantically, temporarily, to get a taste of you, and then maybe tomorrow get a taste of them, and then the next day a taste of the other? Or am I in this romantically for the long haul, meaning it's supposed to evolve beyond the romantic connection to the settle into the, is your intention when you date someone, I'm looking to marry the person I'm dating. I want to marry the person. I'm not dating. You have to be clear. Are you dating to date? Or are you dating to marry? Are you looking for that one? Or are you looking to explore? That's a conversation before any romantic dynamic. Because what happens is people get into, we started dating. But then you start acting like husband and wife, meaning you're sharing responsibilities with each other as husband and wife are supposed to. And then what you end up doing is committing to someone who was in it for just this was just a test, this was just for fun, or this was just experience for now. I wasn't looking to do this forever with you. I was just trying out your brand, and maybe tomorrow I'll try out another brand, so that's the conversation you would have initially, because that's what tends to happen. I'm not saying that it's wrong to explore, but those are the intentions that should come at the forefront. I'm interested in exploring you and your brand on a short-term basis. I don't know where this will lead, but I would like to just get to know you. Then okay. Then you would know from that standpoint how little to invest in that dynamic. In other words, You don't over invest, you don't over get responsible, you don't over commit, you don't put everything into it because you're aware that this is what it is. But a lot of times people would say, well, how did you fall for that? How did you this for that? Well, how do you fall for something? Well, because clearly people are not going to tell you, hey, I want to just try your brand. I want to see what you got going on, and then I want to play around for, as long as I want to. So that when eventually I decide what I want down the line, I'll come back to that. And it's like, no, like you would say no from right away. You would say absolutely not. Unless you're okay with, sure, I don't mind exploring you as well. Because I'm not going to be, since I know that this is where you stand, then I'll take you in the sense as lightly as possible. In other words, open to the possibility that this is not forever. Open to the possibility that this is not serious. Open to the possibility that you may not be the person for me. Open to the possibility that this is just getting to know someone where they are with no expectation. And doing that tends to be the best way to involve yourself with anyone. No commitment, no promises, no, I'm in it for this. No, I meet you because I meet you. I'll see you because you want to see me. We'll go because I like going there. We'll do because I like doing that. And that's it, and that's all. And if that person stays, it's like that openness of, I'm choosing this with you in this moment, this time. And consistently doing that, or staying in that space of openness, that's a true open marriage. A true open marriage isn't the freedom, or in other words, it's not the free pass to involve others in your commitment. The true open marriage is you're here by choice, and you choose this on a daily, and you choose this connection and this dynamic and this responsibility and this way to care for and this way to do with and this way to be with by choice. And I know that it's also by choice on your end because that is what we agreed to. In other words, this is where we started with no expectation. This is how it's been, just for the sake of it being your life exploration, my life exploration. And then the simple unification of those two souls coming together by choice, or those two souls coming together by intention. That's how it flows. It's not hold you to this forever. It's no, this is where I'm at, and I don't think that that's going to change. In other words, my commitment to love you is more of the choice that I have to bring the best version of me when I engage with you. In other words, I've committed to loving those that I know I love. And it doesn't matter who you are, how you are, where you are, what you do. It's like loving someone unconditionally is, I accept that I have love for you. You make me happy. I'm happy around you. But your happiness is, you being happy is more significant. In other words, when your love for the other person means that their happiness is everything, and that you would never want to hinder their happiness. You don't want to be the reason they are unhappy in any way. That's real love. That's love. In other words, I'm not going to make you feel guilty for choosing to explore your life. If I love you, I love you. I'm not saying I allow you to disrespect me, I allow you to be cruel to me. No. If you're not cruel to me and you're not disrespecting me because the expectation of who you're supposed to be to me isn't there, there's no rule telling me how I'm supposed to love you. There's no rule telling me how you're supposed to love me. It's not supposed to. It is. It just evolves. The love guides it. The love in itself guides the freedom, the detachment, because it's secured in the love energy. It's secure in the love. Therefore, it allows it to be with no fear, with no attachment to the outcome, and accepting without feeling resentment. There could be pain of loss and grief of changing dynamics. But when there's true love and you're genuinely seeking your self-awareness or your self-fulfillment, your happiness will be their happiness. Their happiness will be your happiness. And if you're genuinely if you genuinely love each other's energy or company or time together, then nothing keeps you from having that. Nothing keeps you from having and exploring that together without the expectation that it's supposed to lead into anything else. In other words, love for the sake of love, but it's also free to be as one wants to be. There's no rules to that. So that's the message. I'll come back soon. Take care.